to lead the change and to talk a little bit on investments today. So it's my pleasure to be here with you, my dearest Rocio, my dearest colleague from WIPA, my dearest team from Telefonica, and of course, it's amazing to be here with you all because, as you know, this is the first time that we are developing a technical event after COVID. Okay, during COVID-19 time. So it's my pleasure to be here today to talk about entrepreneurship and, of course, to talk about investments. So, Miguel, if you don't mind, we can start the presentation. So, of course, this reminds me my former job. 10 years ago, I was appointed to work on foreign direct investment promotion, and I was really, I don't know if young, but at least I was more immature than today I am. So I was only like 26 years old, I think, and I got the amazing venture to open the doors of my home country, Colombia, to promote investments in the Mercosur. So I decided to create the first office, the Trade, Tourism, and Investments Office of my country in Argentina, in Chile, and of course in Uruguay and Paraguay. And I remembered that in that time, Colombia was changing its image, but more than the image, one of the most amazing things is that we were really focused on developing a strong legal framework in order to empower investments. Today, we have a unique opportunity to do the same because, of course, things have been changing during COVID-19 times, and of course, the tourism sector has been hyper affected. Tourism is the top employer of youth, is the top employer of women, but it's in our hands to foster a legal framework that can help us to promote sustainability, to promote innovation, and of course, to drive green investments in order to lead the change. So, my dearest Miguel, do I need to
maybe backwards, you need to press into local.
I don't know. You know, I am technological, but not that much, you know. So, here we are. So, here we are. Let's talk a little bit about tourism pre-COVID-19 times. Of course, the macro data is more than amazing because, of course, we had 1.5 billion tourists. Second of all, 4% of growth. So, of course, it was an amazing and a very mature sector. And 1 per 10 people work in tourism before the pandemic. And, of course, it was one of the most important sectors when it comes to exports. And of course, it was the most amazing and the most important sector when it came to services exports. So, of course, what happened then? As you can see, I don't know how many of you work on investment banking or how many of you work in investments, but I cannot say that any single economic sector have been dropped by 80%. Tourism is the only sector that have been dropped during the pandemic in 2 digits. And of course, we were done because for the first time in the history, all the borders were closed. And of course, all of us, when we talk about entrepreneurs, a touristic guide can be an entrepreneur. The person that works with us in order to develop all the logistics of an event is part of the tourism chain. So tourism chain is not only about sun and beach. Tourism is about events, congresses, about developing knowledge, about sharing experiences, and everything was closed for the first time in history. So, of course, when we see this was our panorama, and I have to say that, of course, all the regions of the world were the same. We are, for the first time, we don't have competitors, you know, because to tell the world that every single region has been decreasing their tourism by 60, 70, 80%, it's almost the same. So the responsibility is huge, and that's why we decided to create this hybrid model in order to open doors. So I was, in the morning, giving training to the top 25 entrepreneurs that will pitch tomorrow on the SDGs Global Startup Competition, because of course, part of our responsibility is to empower youth and to help them to develop new technologies and to create those mechanisms to matchmake those entrepreneurs, of course, with venture capital. Now we are here in parallel with you, with all the directors of investments of the ministries that unfortunately are not here in presence, but that are listening to us. So this is an amazing approach. Miguel told me that there are more than 70 directors, and as you know, investments is not about numbers. It's about quality, it's about developing a strategic funnel. So I think that we are leading on this week by example and to help to join efforts in order to recover these and of course to recover confidence that is crucial in order to rebound investments. So here we can see as well, this is the pipeline that we had in the past. So this is really important because if we see venture capital investments and private equity, we can see that all the regions of the world are still concentrated when it comes to tourism investments. So when it comes to Americas, investors are focused on the US and Mexico. If we go to the Gulf, they are focused on the Emirates. When you go to Asia Pacific, look, it's super concentrated on India, China, Australia, and if you come to the big hub of the tourism worldwide, that is Europe, you can see that the UK, of course, that is the house of private equity, they have a lot of the biggest deals. Nonetheless, I cannot say the same in France and in Spain that are top number 1 and 2 destinations worldwide. So this map is really interesting because what I'm trying to tell you here is that the green part is invisible to investors, to private equity investors, to venture capital investors. So if we develop a legal and a strong legal framework, and if we promote actively investments as part of tourism recovery, we can at least color a little bit more countries that need the power of investments, sustainable and green and responsible investments in order to recover, again, the sector, to bring added value jobs, among others. Here, of course, I already said, minus 74% here. So as tourism decreases, of course, investment decreases. This is a parallelism because, of course, here it's perfect. The sector decreased by minus 73.9%. Foreign direct investment decreased by the same. So this is a very important slide because to me, those has to be friends or colleagues, you know? So if we want inside our ministries to recover tourism, first of all, we will need to recreate the legal framework to promote investments, to add security, to add more communication, to help investors, of course, not only to attract new investors, but also to help them to preserve their investments and to still growing their investments inside the countries, because if not, they will leave to another sector. Private equity is private equity. So if they don't see opportunities in tourism, okay, they will build a pharmacy or health or insurance or logistics hub. So I think this is an amazing opportunity to see what can we do. And I think that this is the moment to promote incentives by a strongest legal framework where sustainability, innovation, and of course consciousness are coming here to stay and are coming here to help us to rebound the business model of the tourism sector. So this, once again, the deals, of course, the deals regarding private equity went down. But look at this, the deals regarding venture capital remained stable. So once again, my theory about still promoting innovation is crucial if we want to rebound foreign direct investment in the different countries. So here, this is very important. So here, this is what I was trying to say. If you see the investments in venture capital, they remain stable, and that's a good one, because that's a good message to the markets, that of course venture capital is another opportunity inside the sector. Here, of course, I cannot tell anything else. Who of you hate or love Zoom? I don't want to be a hater or a lover or whatever, but I hate not to have the human touch with you and with you and with you, so I love to be here today, because of course my smile became a little bit shy during the pandemic because of the masks and everything, and I love to smile, so sorry for them, but I think, look at this, video communications, the valuation is the same as all the biggest airlines in the world, because of course, if there was no tourism, they dropped once again. So this is another of the main points. So the whole top airlines of the world today are evaluated as the same as Zoom. So once again, our responsibility is huge. And here, I hate, to be honest, I hate those squares, but I love the squares as well, because this is how our travel tech startups are distributed in the subsectors of tourism. So you can see that all the tech entrepreneurs are developing solutions in 3 subsectors that are transport, of course, you know, Uber or those, Cabify, etc. Commerce and shopping, of course, and community and lifestyle. But I don't know if you are aware that the tourism economic chain is huge. So there is another part of the pie that we need to attract. So we need to promote more entrepreneurs to work on adventure travel, on marketing and digital solutions, on artificial intelligence, on financial services, on healthcare, on data analytics, among others. And here, of course, because of this, tourism, international tourism back to level of 30 years ago. So I'm not going to talk on this data. And of course, the scenarios are the ones that you are seeing here. So, of course, after we dropped, our scenario is still positive, but of course it depends on us. Because in the past, there were some challenges regarding the tourism sector. So remember, over-tourism, waste management, etc. I don't know if we want the same tourism that we had in the past. That, of course, it was an amazing and a very democratic sector. Nonetheless, it was not that sustainable. So this is the perfect moment if we want to share different views, if we want to attract different type of investors, and to promote incentives to those that are developing green investments, that are creating added value jobs, and helping them, and of course, encouraging them to have free trade zones or giving incentives in taxes, but just if they are responsible on the way they are adding value through jobs, or by using renewable energies, or by using those sustainable tools that other sectors are using today. So of course, what are the trends? So this is really important. Last minute trips, that's my case. So second of all, new concerns, health, safety, security. So this is crucial to recover confidence again. Closer, so because we don't know, you know, I would love to go to my country. Nonetheless, I cannot go. What do I have? So the opportunity is to go inside Madrid or inside Spain to rural areas or to cities that maybe were not that famous in the past, but that's good because we are giving opportunities and tourism development to another emerging regions. And of course, national and nature and adventure tourism is going high. And that's obvious because people under lockdowns don't want to be on the same city where they have been locked for 1 year or more. Digitalization and innovation, of course. Younger travelers, more responsible. And of course, here, what do we have to offer? Because this is really important for our member states. And normally speaking, we lose this like funnel of services. So just to end, I just want to wrap up on this. That are the main services that we offer inside the UNWTO regarding investments. First of all, capacity building. Why? That's why we develop partnerships with Financial Times, with WIPA, and with the strongest institutions. Why? Because of course we don't know everything. And we have amazing study cases of foreign direct investment attraction. Nonetheless, not all the countries are on the same page. So whatever you need from us regarding capacity building, we are here to help, and we are here to align efforts with the global perspectives of how we see tourism foreign direct investment movements. Second of all, of course, foreign direct investment promotion. How do we do this? We organize this type of seminars. We organize events, investment seminars, specialized investment seminars. We're going to Saudi, that here Anna's our Director of Innovation of the Kingdom is here, but we are developing a forum specialized on investment attraction in Saudi. We are going to do the same in Cabo Verde, in Africa. We are going to do the same in Mexico and in Panama this year. So use those vehicles to come and to join us, because it's really important to us to connect governments and private sector in order to align efforts and to build business opportunities for everybody. Of course, we have the investment network, because part of this is how we react and how we connect investors with the public sector. So every single person that is working on the private sector or on the public sector need the power of networking in order to open new borders, open new opportunities. So that's our job inside the UNWTO, to open doors between investors, institutions, and of course, ministries in order to make investments happen in a good way. And of course, this is a very nice thing. So I don't know if you were aware, but in the past, 3 years ago, I have to say that when we decided with Secretary General to create a global publication focused on investments, surprise, tourism didn't have data on tourism investment. Today, thanks to my dearest Miguel, this is a dream come true, and with our first venture was with the Financial Times, the second venture is with WIPA, but the thing is that today, after a lot of time and a lot of effort, we have to say that we have a framework to help investors to see the different panorama of how the tourism sector is growing. And on the other side, we can help member states to be aligned on the different frameworks that we need from them in order to increase foreign direct investments. So you can find this, of course, online, or Miguel can give it to you without any problem. And of course, I think our dearest Financial Times king that is here today, he already talked to you a little bit, or he will talk a little bit on the partnership, but of course, our aim, once again, is to open doors. One of the main challenges that this sector has is to organize data, and Financial Times has helped us to create an amazing platform for the use of every single technician working on investments inside the ministries of tourism of every single country, and you can see how competitive your country is, how you can create a better understanding and a better marketing strategy to market your country, and of course to focus a little bit more on deliver a more tiny pipeline, but with the strongest and more efficient results. So here, of course, I love these. I told you that I am a lover and a hater, but because hybrid education or hybrid conferences are here to stay, of course, most of you that know me always tell me, where are you? Because I see you in 5 Zooms per day. So are you in Taiwan? Are you in Switzerland? Where are you? And I always answer the same, I'm everywhere. So why? Because we need the power of technology to deliver the different messages that we need to deliver. So of course, we will continue our Zoom tours working with the member states in order to attract more investors and to engage more institutions working on foreign direct investments. And this, as I said, this is the second framework document that we did, thanks to WIPA, on strategies to safeguard tourism investments during COVID-19 times. So this is amazing. You know, it's not because my team developed this. It's because I think it's an added value information for all the people that are working on investments. So take advantage of that information. Use that information, because that information is not from the UNWTO. It's from you, for every single member state that wants to work on investments. And of course, this is like the pieces that we have today. The first one was the framework of tourism investments. The second one, that is going to be presented by myself tomorrow, again, focused on tourism tech ecosystem. And the other one, that is the last one, that is going, that of course, we briefly presented some guidelines to you today. So, just to end, what is this? This is like my obsession, you know? When I'm talking about tourism, my obsession is about youth. When I'm talking about innovation, my obsession is about women empowerment, because more than 28% of women working in tourism lead a startup. So to me, that's my obsession. So if you ask me on education, what's my obsession? Online education, because it's the way to scale up the way people are educated. But if you ask me, what's my obsession on investments? This is my obsession. Always, I see that here we have a strong opportunity. Why? I don't know if you know, but we talk about sustainability every single time in the world. We have the Paris Agreement, we have a lot of things. Do you know how many countries have a public policy focused on tourism sustainability? 10. So how you want to attract foreign direct investments focused on green technologies or on green hotels if you don't have the framework? Second of all, what are the incentives to do this and to do a green hotel rather than a normal hotel? There are no investments. So there are not incentives, sorry. So if you don't create a legal framework inside your countries to help green private equity to come to the countries, we are not doing anything. So those green investments would go to other subsectors of the economy. And that's why it's my obsession. I cannot believe that from 200 countries that the world has, only 10 that are New Zealand, Australia, my hometown Colombia, Canada, and Switzerland, and 5 more, and that's all. And the rest, so why you're talking about sustainability and about the sustainable development goals if you don't have a legal framework to attract investors? Based on green technologies, based on renewable energies, based on how to create inclusion inside rural communities. So that's a strong challenge and a strong opportunity if we want to rebound tourism, to develop a legal framework to attract investors focused on green and on sustainability. So I remember when I came 10 years ago and we created the Colombian tourism law to attract hotels. And of course, we doubled the number of hotels coming because there were incentives. So of course, they had tax incentives, free trade zone incentives, a lot of incentives. We have to do the same. And I'm talking about that case not because I'm Colombian, because it was a successful case inside the tourism sector. But if we want to do those kind of movements of doubling the investments, we need incentives for the private sector. But today, unfortunately, only 10 countries in the world have official incentives to attract green investors. So we need to work more. So I don't know if you understand why that's my new obsession inside investments. So that's why we decided to create a green program with the IFC. As you know, IFC is a private branch of the World Bank, and we are working on, first of all, capacity building. So we have done a lot of seminars. Second of all, the IFC has the green stamp for hotels that is called EDGE. So once you get the EDGE certification as a hotel, they open the doors for loans or investments. So they are helping those that are doing things on a sustainable way to gain loans or to gain investments. And of course, they want to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 by helping with loans and with investments on those hotels in order to hire more working capital focused on sustainability. So this is an amazing project. For the ones that are working in government, this is crucial. So it's very important to talk to Miguel. Unfortunately, I have to leave. I told you I'm everywhere and nowhere because after this I have to see the SG and the Minister of Tourism of Dominican Republic. So, but Miguel, that is here leading the show today, he will help you on everything that you need regarding this project, because to us it's one of the key projects to make a real change on the way we are developing foreign direct investments. And last but not least, not to bother you, this is Tourism for Tomorrow program. That is a new program that we are building with the big tech companies in order to help entrepreneurs, because it's not only about capacity building, it's as well to help how to connect those seed entrepreneurs and those seed startups to grow and to be mature when they are talking to investors. So we are trying to develop a new program inside the Tourism Online Academy focused on what are the fundamentals that entrepreneurs need to know in order to attract an investor. Because of course, there are huge gaps. It's not only about having a good project, but also about having a good team. We are here in the House of Startups, so Telefonica can talk a lot of what are the gaps between an entrepreneur and an investor when they are trying to connect and to promote deals. So we are trying to launch this program during the General Assembly in Morocco, because all the countries are asking us for those type of materials, to have an entrepreneurial and investment toolkit, like a place where entrepreneurs can download the things that they need in order to present a good pitch to an investor. Of course, focus on the SDGs, and that's all for the day. It's my pleasure once again to have you on board. I would like to see all of you tomorrow, May 18th, to lead by example and to keep growing the tourism innovation ecosystem. My dearest Rocio, I love how you did everything to attract investors in Madrid and what you are doing inside SEIM in order to preserve investors. As I already said, it's not only about attracting a lot of people and to come here, and that's very nice, but then the tough work is how do I preserve them, how I take care as a government or as an institution, how do I take care of them in order to empower growth, to add value jobs, and of course to build. In this case, Madrid, of course, is one of the biggest hotspots on investments, hotspots of tourism, and of course, it's an amazing example. So of course, I would like to give the floor, and last but not least, whatever you need from us, we are here to help and to work with you, because of course, we need to rebound tourism together. It's not only UNWTO responsibility, it's not only government responsibility, it's private sector responsibility as well, but we need to be stronger than ever in order to lead the same message, to be sustainable, to be innovative, and of course, to be inclusive. Thank you.